Hey, who wants to hear a story of me running around like a chicken with my head cut off? I'm usually pretty cool, calm, and collected when a unfortunate thing arises. I'm a strong believer in the bullshit tax, which simply means that up to 5% of things can and will go wrong. But I had a pretty big surprise this past week that really threw a curveball in the mix. Check this out. I just bought a house. Coolest thing I've done probably in my entire lifetime except for the birth of my son. Speaking of my son, it was about 3 in the morning and he was crying, so I tended to the baby, got him down, and I coulda, shoulda just gone back to bed, but I looked at my phone to see that PayPal had frozen all of my funds. Here's why that's a huge problem. I was closing on a loan for a mortgage on Tuesday morning. I'm putting 20% down on a home. Well, I just needed a little bit more from PayPal to transfer into my main bank account to have enough money to handle the down payment and all the cash required to close. With the PayPal funds frozen, I literally did not have enough money for closing. That's a huge problem. Basically, I do claim sales, live online sales every Sunday and sometimes Wednesday. And what happens is people build a pile. Let's say they get The Foot Book by Dr. Seuss. I have no idea why this was sitting right there. I don't know. They get this book or several books and I invoice them that night and I ship it that very night. It hits the post office the following morning. An option I allow for people who have bought from me for over a year or so. What we do is we actually build a short box and we only charge shipping once the box is filled and ready to go. One of my regulars messaged me. He's like, hey, you know what? Let's not wait for the short box to go. I'd like to have it shipped now. Totally fair. I can pad the box and get it out a little bit earlier. We don't have to wait and fill it all the way. Totally fine. But I messaged him like, there is more room. Just let me know if you're absolutely sure. All invoices go out Sunday and I'll bill you with the shipping label and we'll get you shipped out. Anyway, he very surprisingly opened a PayPal case that he hadn't received the items. Very strange for a friend and a regular to do this. I do want to express I'm not mad at him. I still wish he came to me first and maybe said, hey, I really, really, really need those books right now. Otherwise, I'm going to open a PayPal case. I don't know. Anyway, it's 3 in the morning and I get this alert from PayPal that all my funds are frozen basically until this dude gets his books. Oh my God. So I run into the office, I pad his box, I go get a shipping label. Thinking I'll have to bill him for this shipping label later, I guess. And I just plugged it into PayPal so they could see that the tracking item is there and that he's going to get the books by Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. Still not good enough for PayPal. The freeze wouldn't lift until the books actually delivered to his house. Again, that's a huge problem. We're closing on Tuesday and I have all this money in PayPal that I need. So I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to have to ask my parents for a loan or a gift? But remember, we had already passed through the processing stage. We were at the closing stage. And when you get a gift for a loan, that has to get approved by processing. You actually go back into processing and that can delay closing. It can cause other problems. So we couldn't do that. So we had to kind of restructure the loan. Now, I wasn't willing to go under 20% of a down payment. Under 20% of a down payment, you have to pay PMI mortgage insurance. By paying 20% down, I got not only a better interest rate, but I got the option of not paying any mortgage insurance, which we totally want, especially with me being a mortgage underwriter for 10 years. I know the benefits of not having PMI. So the loan officer decided, we're just going to restructure it. We're going to bump it up 15. That way I get a $15,000 concession, which means I get to keep it instead of cash to close, but the loan amount is more, if that makes sense. The only problem with that is the seller negotiations for this deal weren't fantastic. There were problems that came up in the inspections on the loan, And there were a few moments where both me and my wife and both the sellers almost walked at a couple spots. We found that the septic failed. There was a problem with the well. There was quite a few things that failed. That in the end, they were able to help, but only a little bit, not all the way. And it was this whole thing. So we were really nervous about getting the sellers to be okay with raising the loan amount, but a concession coming back to me. Luckily, in the 11th hour, they said, of course, that's no problem. It's the same exact thing on their end anyway. And it ended up being okay. We were able to close. A funny thing happened when we were at the title office. I actually got the email from PayPal saying that the hold was lifted. I wish that had come a day before, but that's okay. I gotta tell you, I was actually freaking out on this one. You don't want to say that you've got money to do a closing and then not actually have the money. So that was definitely scary. When I saw a lot of loans as a mortgage underwriter, it would be a lot of this frantic, panic, last minute stuff. It was just weird being on the other end of it for sure. But hey, PayPal, what's up, man? I'm like the most loyal person to PayPal. I send 100 packages out a week. I do all this invoicing. I've never had a problem, pretty much, I think, ever. But they're just going to not have my back that bad in my time of need. That was crazy. PayPal has too much power, man. Too much power. It's all good. Headache averted, but I definitely got some gray hairs over this one. I'll see you guys at the next video. I know you love these stories, so apparently I've got plenty of them. See you later. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.